Hey, this is Mark, and we are here at the Action Figuratorium. And on this episode of the Toy Talk, I wanted to talk about this recent Kickstarter campaign by Lone Coconut for the PlunderLong and Plunderstrong magnetic action figures, which just recently closed, and I actually am a backer of. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to go through each of the characters that they were offering through the Kickstarter, talk about them, talk about the ones I like, maybe mention some of the ones that I don't care for as much. There's very few of those, to be honest. But also, I just kind of wanted to talk about the campaign in general, sort of what they did right, what they did wrong, that kind of thing. As it's a campaign that I really like, and so stick around for that, folks. All right, so let me see here. I'm going to cut over to some desktop cam here. Whoa, look at that. Yeah, it's exciting. So this campaign by Lone Coconut is their second Kickstarter. They had done one previously for something called a Plunderling, and I would like to show you some of those, but in order to do so, I'm going to have to bring up Big Bad Toy Store. Plunderling. So this is a campaign. We're on Big Bad Toy Store now here, and wow, interesting. All the no, hold on here. Lone Coconut, yes. So you can see these little guys here. I'll bring one up. So these are the first campaign they did. It's called a PlunderLong, or a Plunderling. It's a little tiny kind of a kobold type creature, magnetic joints on it, pretty cool. And so they did this campaign, and there's still some of these for sale on Big Bad Toy Store. But then they launched this other campaign, the PlunderLong and Plunderstrong. So we're going to talk about what this is. So basically, they are offering through this campaign two types of action figures. There's kind of what I would call a goblin. It's like a 5-inch guy, and that's sort of what you see here on the left. And then they have a 6-inch guy who's sort of a big beefcake dude, and I think of those guys as being a hobgoblin, and he is on the right here. So the one on the left, what I call goblins, are the PlunderLongs, and the other guys on the right here are the Plunderstrongs. So in this campaign, you can pledge 40 bucks for a PlunderLong, that's the 5-inch guy, or $60, get an extra inch, a little more girth for the Plunderstrongs. So what they would do is they had these different classifications of figures, and at certain points in the campaign, when you got up to enough money, they unlocked new characters that you could buy, which would then let people get excited who maybe hadn't been, kind of like me, who saw some new characters and said, wow, I would love to own something like that. And then they jumped on board, and just keeps picking up steam, and so money goes up, and they unleash more guys, and more people bid, that kind of thing. So $40 a PlunderLong, $60 a Plunderstrong, and then within this category, they would have one of each. So let's just start moving through these guys, talking about them. And we'll talk about the magnetic thing towards the end too, because I think it's kind of real interesting. So the first category is their sort of stock guy called a raider, you know, sort of like a pirate. And so here is what the PlunderLong raider looks like. It's this blue guy, and it comes with all the fixins, all sorts of, like, you know, cutlasses and cool hats and stuff like that, extra heads. And here's the raider of the Plunderstrong, and so these are the two sort of stock guys. This is what they opened with. As time went on, they unlocked another class. This is the Berserker class, or like a warrior, so he just kind of has some armor and a harness and a weapon. And of course, the one for the Plunderstrongs is this guy, Mango, and he's got, you know, He's got a cool color. He's got kind of a cool sort of luchador mask on, neat battle axe, sort of keeping with that tropical thing that these guys have going. Then the next one that was unlocked was the Captain class. Here is the PlunderLong Captain. He is Ojo, and he's got the cool, he's got an additional like little eye cap and a hook and some different attachments. I think there's kind of a harpoon you can put on his hand. Here, of course, is the Plunderstrong version of the Captain. He's got a really cool coat. He's carrying a big giant cannon. This guy is pretty awesome looking. He's a cool color. Right, then they unleashed this this other Kickstarter exclusive drench, and a drench is going to be some sort of transparent aquatic looking creature. And here is the PlunderLong version. You see he's just kind of blue, but he's got that anchor to let you know that he's from the deep. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to the Plunderstrong version of the drench, which is this guy with the tentacles on the bottom, and they have some articulation on the ends, kind of cool. I thought that was a little bit of a weird choice. We'll talk about that in a bit. So that is the drench category. The next category is called the Nomad, and that is this guy with the cool sort of buccaneer hat, and he's got sort of the, I think, he's got more of the straight edge weapon. He also comes with a lute, or a guitar as I like to call it, a cape. And the Nomad version of the Plunderstrong is this guy with kind of a man with no name, Clint Eastwood poncho and cool sort of lowrider hat. Very cool character. This category next is called Feral. This guy was unlocked. He's just kind of a wild guy, fires himself out of a cannon. He's got kind of an 8-ball helmet looking thing on. Interesting enough, Lone Coconut did not make a Feral Plunderstrong. There is one missing from this class. There's the drench we looked at. This guy got unlocked. He's a cursed. This guy supposedly has eaten some kind of a magic fish where he lives forever. And this guy is the cursed version of the Plunderstrong. He's got that same kind of coat as the other guy, except a different color. He is being mind controlled by some sort of crustacean on his head. Looks like a cool hat. Could be a cool hat. Write that down, cool hat. And that is available. They showed off the rest of these guys. They did not get unlocked. We didn't hit the goal, but they did do quite a bit of business. They did do $339,000 in this campaign, but we did not unlock the Tinker, who's kind of cool. It comes with a giant wrench. He's got kind of this Rey Force Awakens looking goggle thing. No, I don't really like that, but who's going to complain? The Plunderstrong Tinker guy looks particularly cool. He's got that Greek fisherman cap, the beard. He's kind of like a salty Tom Waits looking guy. Comes with like a peg leg, it looks like. And we never got to these guys, the Fawns, which, by the way, if you were to go to the Big Bad Toy Store again, which I love to do, and you will see that out of all the Plunderlings, which are the first campaign they did of the little guys, you'll see that the Fawn is the only one that sold out. So if I was Lone Coconut, I would have moved the Fawn characters much further up, because if people are into buying those, you can sell them. You just have to make them available. If they are locked and people can't buy them, you're not going to sell any. Failure on their part. They did not look at what Big Bad Toy Store had sold out of. They did not appropriately put their Fawn characters in the right list. These guys are, that's badass. That looks like kind of a, it's like a Hellboy looking dude. That's pretty cool. This is your, everyone's got a Krampus figure nowadays, and so this is kind of their Krampus. So this is locked. Then there's a bunch of these add-ons that you'll be able to get later through the backer kit. One of them includes these Plunderlings, which are little bodies that you can put your extra heads on. You get little baby guys. Hatchlings, sorry, that's what they're called. Sorry about that. And then, of course, accessory crates, hands, guns, weapons, hats, all that kind of stuff, etc. And here's all the milestones, what they look like unlocked. Anyone can go to this Kickstarter and check it out on your own. So then this campaign, let me talk a little bit about how I got involved with this, why I like this, what I think is cool about it, and then we'll talk about what I think they did wrong. So first of all, I happen to have gotten this guy out of a thrift store. It was a bag of action figures, and he was just in there with it. And this is actually a Mega Bloks Halo magnetic figure that connects through magnetic balls in the joints. He's missing a few pieces of armor. That's why the legs look a little sort of rubbish the way they do, because he was incomplete. But I found this guy and I was checking him out, and I thought it was particularly cool posing this guy with the magnets. And so in doing research on these Mega Bloks magnetic figures such as the Halo guys, he doesn't have the Halo hat on, by the way. He's got that, that's what his head looks like without the helmet. Mega Bloks also makes these little shorter guys, 5-inch guys that are called Mag Warriors, or like medieval looking dudes. So I was doing some research on these guys. When I found the Lone Coconut website, I was doing a search on magnetic characters, magnetic action figures. I found that, and I started following them on Twitter. And then when they launched this campaign, I saw that it was happening, and I started watching, following along, and I really got into it. I think that these guys are particularly, particularly cool looking and fun. They have kind of that that World of Warcraft goblins, South Pacific high seas, pirate raider kind of look. I think that really works. I think it's really neat. I think they've tapped into something. This is not bad what they've done, considering the fact that they do not have a comic book or a TV show or a video game or anything that I can see to play off of. They're just like making up their own characters and putting them in a Kickstarter and saying, if you give us money, we will make these. And the fact that they did a previous Kickstarter and they delivered on it, and that tells me that I felt pretty safe putting some money behind these guys. I think this is going to turn out quite well. Of these, I actually ended up pledging for one PlunderLong and one Plunderstrong. I ended up getting the Nomads, are the ones I haven't actually selected yet, because we haven't had the option yet to pick which guys you want, even though it's closed. But I'm going to be getting this guy mainly because, to be honest with you, he comes with the guitar, and the whole swashbuckling thing really looks cool and works for me. And then when I was thinking of which of the Plunderstrongs to get, because I thought you should get one of each. You know, if you're going to back this, it's great just to put in 40 bucks and have a cool guy on the desk. But if you're going to back this, you should, while you have the chance, get one of each, get two guys. And so this was the guy, and it wasn't because he was also Nomad. I just looked at all of them, and I kind of thought this was out of the strong dudes, I thought it was the coolest, with the exception of maybe like the fawns, because they were still locked, so you didn't get a chance at them. But I thought that this guy with the poncho and the hat, the two guns is kind of cool too, but the poncho and the hat really sort of make it for me. I like this guy. I thought he would look cool with the other guy, and I'm hoping that they do well. So in terms of this campaign then, what I was confused about in regards to Lone Coconut's Kickstarter is they didn't do any sort of breakdown or discounts if you got multiple figures. For example, if you went to the Kickstarter pledges, 40 for a long, 60 for a strong. If you wanted two longs, it was just 80. If you wanted a long and a strong, it was 100. If you wanted three strongs, it was, 180. You know, it's just like there was no discount. They just came up with packages that just added more. And also, as you bought in, like if you bought 6 or 7, 8, 9, there wasn't any extra thing that they just lobbed in. Like if you spent $1,000 just got $1,000 worth of stuff. There's no extra like, yeah, t-shirt or sticker or, you know, scratch pad or something like that. So I was a little disappointed in these guys that didn't do any packaging further up with discounts for figures. I think that's a ding. I think that's a big ding, to be perfectly honest with you. If you spend a lot of money on these guys, as it scales, you should get a few bucks off. That's the way it should work. And they didn't do that, and they just went totally stock with this, which, okay, it's fine. This is only their second campaign, and they're delivering quite a bit of toy, right, for just being a couple of guys, right? And they didn't throw any extra things in as you went up. So there was no incentive for people to buy a lot other than people who just want to get a bunch of these, which is perfectly fine as well. But it needs to be noted that they did not do the full mix and match and cool packages and products and stuff. They just kind of came up with, you can buy multiples of two guys and figure out which guys you want later. So that to me was a little lame. I'm not saying these guys suck and that this is a disaster and it's terrible. It's just that, like, if you wanted to get the A+, you clearly didn't with that. You got the B. And then as we move down to see like what was unlocked, here I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom here. We'll see that we got all the way up to this guy, $300,000. Not quite to the Tinker, although if there would have been the ability for people to purchase add-ons, because there's a little thing for it and you clicked on it, nothing happened, you couldn't get to add-ons. You were being told you could buy the add-ons, you know, like the weapons crates and stuff like that. You could buy those after the backer kit comes out, then you can figure. If they would have had a way to configure those in so that you could purchase those, they would have easily hit that number, because I'm going to get definitely the hatchlings for sure. And who knows what all the other goofballs and goobers out there are going to get. If I'm going to get that, the cheapest man on the planet, the guy who gets all of his toys and action figures secondhand from thrift stores and garage sales, if I'm going to buy a couple of these things, you know someone else definitely would, because I see people go all in on this all the time. So here's the thing that I'm a little confused about is, as we went up and we unlocked different things, the order with which they went has confused me. Specifically these drenches. These drenches do not fit, in my opinion, with the rest of the characters. All of the other characters here, in my opinion, have a kind of, like I said, that World of Warcraft goblin, South Pacific Seas, pirate raider sort of thing going on. And these drenches, these sort of underwater creatures, you know, half plunder, half underwater creature, they just don't fit in with the other characters. I mean, it's not that they're not cool or that I wouldn't want them or that it's not a neat thing as an exclusive. It seems like the kind of thing that, first of all, I'm going to say it shouldn't even be in this campaign, right? It's the kind of thing that if they go and they do conventions or something like that, it's a totally separate other toy universe within this universe. Like, if you want to get those guys, they should be the ultra rare, but to me the characters just do not fit. They do not fit, and you know, if we ever get to see what people really wanted and what amounts, if it ever becomes public, which I'm pretty sure it won't, I would be stunned, as I always am, to see the breakdowns of what everybody wanted and what everybody got. Because I think that those are, again, not lame, they're just, to me, they seem like the super exclusive, that they're so far out from the rest of these guys. And I know what Lone Coconut's thinking. They're thinking we need to come up with something wild and awesome and amazing, and these are it. I would have left those guys completely off, or they would have been completely at the end. I would have taken these fawn guys and I would have stuck them, I would have stuck them right around the Nomads. I would have brought them up early because these cats sold out. It's the only thing that's sold out on Big Bad Toy Store from these guys, and that should tell you everything you need to know. In fact, you probably could have launched a campaign of just those. You could have done that. So all these weapons crates and stuff and unlock stuff like that, I think that stuff's kind of cool, but I think it's a little sloppily done. I think they slopped that a little bit. I think it could have been a little bit cleaner. I would have taken the drench guys off completely and offered them as like a different Kickstarter on the next round when they do a second wave of these guys, ultra exclusive. I would have moved the fawns way up because they would have sold a lot better. And I guess the last guys we probably would have got to would have been the, well, there was these guys that they had on the list here that were the shamans. They were called shamans. And I don't know if they're on this giant thing at the end here. Yeah, you see a picture of all the different guys. There was some shaman dudes on the list. They're gone now. They didn't get unlocked. They didn't reveal them. That's okay. So again, I think that everything that we're seeing here as far as characters go looks pretty cool, except for the dudes here in front. Does that mean I wouldn't want one of these if someone's like, hey man, you want this? I'm like, no, these suck. No, I'm just thinking if you're gonna, from a marketing point of view, if you're going to go live with this campaign, I think you need to really, really, really focus and pick the right ones in the right order to keep climbing. However, these guys did a fantastic job given the market today and given the amount of competition and toy companies out there. The magnetic thing is really great. Again, I've got these, that Mega Blocks guy, the Halo guy, and sitting on the desk, he's so much fun to play with. So anyone who backed one of these guys, when you get it, you're gonna have so much fun. And if you didn't back them, when they go to Big Bad Toy Store, there'll be a few bucks more. There'll be like $9 more, $5 more for each one. Pick up a couple. You're gonna love them. They're gonna be great. So that's all I got for now. Got some more vids coming up this week. There's gonna be some more unboxing videos. We're also gonna do a what am I shooting this week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.